Every once in a while I see some spots which I think might be worthwhile fishing. And it makes me curious to find out if there are any fish down there and if I would be able to catch some. But I don't always carry a rod with me, and I think to myself, one of these days I'll go out and fish this place. Well, it turns out that there are several of these places in my hometown that I've been wanting to fish for years. I decided that the time has come to knock some of them off my list. I grabbed a rod, a net and some night crawlers. Super excited and with high expectations I started to fish the first spot. This spot to me was also the most interesting one. It had this big old pipe, some structure and plants, and it was right in the city. I've also seen fish there in the past. I made a few casts, but no sign of fish whatsoever. So I grabbed my stuff and was on my way to the next spot. Some 100 meters downstream, I found the first sign of active fish. There were a few chubs enjoying themselves. If you saw my older videos, you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of chubs. So I didn't even think about making a cast and left them at peace. Don't get me wrong, I think chubs are great fish and they certainly put up a good fight. But when I go fishing, my intent is to take something home with me that I can, or rather that I want to eat. And chubs are not on that list. It's mainly perch, zander and pike, at least when it comes down to the sweetwater species in my area. Anyways, it was time to hit the next spot. Of what I've heard, fish like to hang out next to structure. So I thought a bridge would be a great spot. I made a cast, nothing. I made another one, nothing. I suppose I don't need to explain further how it went from there. Well, I still had some spots to go and I was still in a good spirit. The next spot was part of a channel that I've fished a lot in the past. And I knew for a fact that there's a lot of fish in that water. Then it started to dawn on me that I might have picked a day with, let's say, challenging circumstances. We were at the middle of fall and had some temperature drops now and then. Not only was it strange that I haven't had any bites so far, but I also couldn't see any sign of active fish, except for those chubs at the first spot. So I tried another spot. Nothing. I was eager to find out if I just picked sucky spots with no fish or if the fish weren't in the mood of biting. So I went to a place that had never let me down. Just a few weeks ago I caught 4 perch within 10 minutes at that spot. I rigged up a delicious night crawler and was confident that this spot would deliver. Confidence soon turned into doubt and a lot of question marks in my head. Was it just that the conditions weren't right at that day? Or did the fish change already their behavior to winter mode and it left for their winter quarters? I honestly don't know. However, I managed to catch the target species, but way too small. This was also the only bite that I had at the spot. To salvage my fishing reputation, which to be honest isn't very high, I planned to check out a spot that had been productive not too long ago. And it didn't take long for the first good bite. I managed to catch a couple of baubles, but all very small. I didn't want to stress these little ones too much, so I decided to call it a day. This trip certainly didn't turn out the way that I had imagined. I was sure that these spots had potential. But that's fishing. You never know what you're gonna catch, or if you catch anything at all. But this is exactly what keeps me going. The challenge, the unpredictability, and the hope that the next cast could be the one. This being said, I hope you join me on the next trip.